This is Sid Okaiba, and thanks for listening to It's Recording Time Media, the most pathetic show you could listen to. You really should be listening to something I do, like KaibaCorp.com.
You made it.
I made it. I was running. I was running.
No. Yeah, we still have 5 minutes before,
Yeah,
but maybe we'll start.
Yeah, we'll start right at the top and then we'll go on. Yeah,
Are you our moderator?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm more of a
perfect.
timekeeper, if you will. I'm just trying to get people through in and out if I can.
Yeah.
And,
No worries, man.
but I have the announcements I make are the other side of the arena, so they're run over there and make announcements come back here.
And say,
So,
get to the panel quick.
yeah. So we'll go probably about 20, 30 minutes, just kind of fill it out kind of thing, and then
sure.
Get you guys back out there so you can
Cool.
also interact with people who are looking at where'd they go?
I know. We always go back and there are people waiting.
Waiting, yeah, exactly.
Good thing.
That was
I
a
didn't
lot.
realize there was water there. Very cool.
Yeah,
I haven't walked around at all. Like I didn't get
Where are you from?
LA.
LA.
Well,
okay.
I'm originally from Texas, but
Okay.
I
So now you
live in LA. Yeah.
Well, if you take this goes all the way to the ocean.
Oh,
It
really?
would take you probably a whole day.
Yeah,
With
just
the
a lot.
sail.
Yeah.
Well, to sail if you had a boat, something like that. Yeah, a lot of people will do that. They'll take it this and it goes through the Bay Area, like Antioch, Pittsburgh, Walnut Creek, things like that, and then eventually into the bay itself.
Oh,
You could-
wow.
People will usually start right here just to kind of have that.
And just take it.
Yeah, just take it all the way out.
Cool.
We've been to Stockton before.
No, it's my first time. I haven't gotten a chance to see much of it,
Yeah.
but it seems like cool
When'd you
people.
get in?
Last night.
Last night, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause yesterday was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
It was a really nice day.
I should have taken an earlier flight, so I could have at least walked
Oh,
around.
you're good. Well, we're hopefully get to come back in
Yeah.
the summertime.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, yeah, I need to come for the longer show, so then I can really check out.
Sure,
Stockton.
absolutely. It's a lot of good food and just historic, just because of the Delta and stuff like that.
Yeah. You guys are so quiet.
They're thinking of their questions that they're going to ask.
They're
So,
thought-provoking questions.
yes.
David handles all the hard questions. I take the fluff. Take the easy stuff.
Well, that's going to be
I do ask that we keep the math questions to a minimum.
The geometry questions.
No advanced math.
Oh man, if someone asked us a math question, I would jump over this table.
Yeah,
I throw myself in that
I
lane.
would open my phone and go, let me get my calculator.
I guess we'll get started here. I want to thank everyone for showing up. I know people will be walking in as we talk. But one of the ones that I saw on this list, I'm like, okay, I can talk about this. Only two that I can talk about, because, I mean, everybody has their own, the flavor, I guess you could say. But two of them were, especially from my childhood, were Power Rangers, and then at 3 o'clock will be wrestling. So I'm in my element finally here. And Karan and David, thank you so much for joining us. How has StocktonCon been so far for you guys?
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. I was shocked that this was a first-time winner show. This place is packed.
Yeah.
Like, you guys did a great job. I think everybody's having a good time, and fans have been fabulous.
And David, how about you? How's your interaction? 'Cause this is not your first time to what we like to what was called the 209, has it?
Well, no, I was at SAC Anime in 2015, so that's not too far from here.
No,
Yeah.
just up the road.
It's my first time in Stockton.
And I'm sure you're getting all the fandom questions and this and that. And I wonder sometimes, just from my interactions with the different panels and the different fans that we've seen, do a lot of them kind of believe that you are, oh, you must know karate, or you must be the smartest person in the entire world. And,
Pretty much.
and what do you have to tell? Do you know? I mean, did you have some training, and how did that work for you?
Actually, I didn't. I was a dancer. You obviously, when we auditioned, you had to either have karate, martial arts, or you had to be a gymnast. Luckily, I was a dancer. No, I said karate, martial arts. Dancing, martial arts, or a gymnast, and I was a dancer. But I think what they wanted was for you to be athletic. Yeah. And when I went back and auditioned for the producers, they did ask for me to add some punch and kicks, because they just wanted to see if I could do it. Was it believable? And luckily it was. But yeah, I don't know anything. Everything I learned on set. And I tried to work as hard as I could, because those guys that were on the show with me, they knew, like, they were full-on black belts, right, and they were full-on martial artists, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't the one that looked like, you know, like, oh, we could tell she doesn't know.
Right.
So I was like, let me just make sure I could at least do it good enough to convince the fans.
And David, I wonder if everyone thinks that since you were the boss of everyone and everything, and so Zordon, do people think like, oh, you must just know, you're the man of all knowing, and do they ask you questions in relation to
Papa
that?
Z. We call him Papa Z.
Papa Z, yeah. Well, I mean, I look at Zordon as kind of like Neo. You know, he kind of downloaded all of his information, whatever he needed at the time. So, because he was trapped in an interdimensional time warp, he had access to different things at different times. So he was able to like absorb all that and then give it back out as it was.
You're basically Google. Like,
yeah.
Zordon was Google.
Before.
Yeah, he got the party started.
And now, and then you came into as the Yellow Ranger, and like, I mean, that was some shoes to fill.
Yeah.
You did a great job. I mean,
Thank you.
But did you know how big those shoes were to fill when you?
No, I didn't. I think I was the only person on this earth who had not seen Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Like, I was graduating high school at the time, so I was consumed with trying to get into college. But I had no idea. But I'm so thankful I didn't, because they would tell you like, oh, it's the #1 kids show in the world, and that means nothing.
Right.
When you're like, what does that even mean? So I'm so glad I didn't know, but I quickly found out how popular Trini was, and I just felt honored to be another girl on the show and to represent girl power, before girl power was cool. So I just was kind of like, super happy to kind of be fulfilling my dreams as an actress to, get on the show. But man, the fans have it's so cool meeting them today, because they really tell you what the show meant to them. And little did we know this show was, changing a whole generation of kids. Kids would start taking karate class. They'd start, little girls were empowered to be leaders. It was like, they tell us these amazing stories, and we just feel so lucky and blessed that we were even part of something that was so positive and so great to them.
And also, from what I understand, and from looking, at your social media, is that you've built friendships now outside of, for so long, not only between you two, but through some. Which ones do you still interact with?
I talk to everybody. I mean, I think we both do. Comic-Cons is really, they kind of bring us together, and like we get to go on these adventures every weekend, which is, I mean, we've literally gone all over the world, and we've had like memorable moments in our life together. Yeah. But it's so cool to explore the world with, people that we, kind of grew up with. But yeah, I'm super close to Catherine and Nakia and Aaron Cahill from Time Force. Like we go to lunch or we have breakfast at least once a month, and we just kind of, we're girly and we solve each other's problems, and we just have a good time. But no, we get along with everybody.
Yeah, for like the past 2 months, Mike Jin and Christopher Kamen Lee and I have been playing video games online. So I mean,
awesome, yeah.
So we do things outside the Power Ranger universe.
And to think, Christopher Kamen Lee killed you.
Yeah,
man, old wounds.
He brings it up every time.
And then you think about what are some of the interactions, maybe because I know you've only been here for a few hours here in Stockton, but from the fans now, since it's been some time. I mean, you're probably seeing some gray hair folks being like, hey, I remember this and that. And
yeah.
What's really funny is running into other celebrities that are aware of the show.
And, name drop, please. Name drop.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody who...
Well, I once met LL Cool J, and when he found out I was a Power Ranger, he lost it. And was like, I need you to get my kids' autographs. Like, sign this, sign this. Like, it was like, sign this napkin. And I was like, this is LL freaking Cool J. Like,
freaking out over you.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll sign anything for you. Like, yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the kind of weird thing. Like, when I was growing up, or when I was just starting out in college, The Road Warrior came out. And Vernon Wells was in that. And then Vernon Wells was part of Power Rangers. He was on Time Force. So when I got to meet Vernon at Lexington Comic Con, that was a big deal for me. I was like, you don't know, this is, I know who you are. And then he came over and goes, I need to get your autograph. I'm like, you don't ask me for my autograph.
You're too cool.
And meeting Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon, and he's just like a super sweet guy and knows me by name now. So I mean, that's the kind of weird thing that we run into.
Yeah.
Are you seeing generations now, like father and
because
young child?
Well, obviously our fans have grown up and now they have kids. But like their parents, like the whole family comes to Comic-Con and it's like the mom, the original fan, and the kid, and like they'll come to the table and we don't know who to talk to because we're like, hi little kid, and the dad's like, no, the autograph's for me. Pushes the kid out of the way and was like, it's Morphin time. Like, it's like, but it's funny because when they walk up to the table, they literally turn 5 years old. Like I don't know if you know this, but your eyes just give it away. And it's just the sweetest thing because we get a glimpse of what it meant to them. Because it's just like, man, I know when I was a kid, I used to tie the towel around my neck and I used to dive off of things and I thought I was Wonder Woman. So I couldn't imagine, actually meeting her. So I just think it's such a cool full circle moment.
You did get to meet Captain America.
Yes, I did get to meet Captain. He's still mad at me about that. That was like 2 years ago. I told him, I love Captain America. And Bucky. I met both of them. I got like,
it was Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan, and I was like,
and they hugged me. Like I went in and like I was gonna take a photo op, and I just was like, and they were like they pulled me in. I was like, so,
that's awesome.
I fangirled. I'm not gonna lie.
Any questions as we go along? Because I don't want to miss you. Go ahead, sir.
Costume and makeup. I know the Rangers. I know they had the suits, but mine was like that. Costume. Mine was more for Zordon. You didn't really see his face, but we knew he had to do something. Like how did they get you on the screen like that?
Well, they only filmed the character one time. So they brought me in and took me into the makeup room, and I was in there for about 45 minutes while they shaved all my hair off. When at the time I had like a mini mullet. I had hair down to like here, and
he had the Jason Frank.
I did. And they shaved it all off, and they glued my ears back, darkened my eyebrows, and then they slathered all of me from like the neck down with green latex paint. And then I went in front of the camera, and with all the hot lights, they had to keep touching up the paint because it would dry and crack. But they only filmed me for about 4 or 5 hours, and then recycled that footage over and over. So I didn't get to experience some of the problems that these guys did with having to like deal with dirty, smelly spandex or helmets that didn't fit quite right or whatever.
It never fit.
Yeah, so.
Go ahead, sir.
So I heard that with Trini, like Jason, they were probably like taught her some moves, like some for vision. Did they teach you any moves like?
You know what? They honestly we got the part, and they were like, "You're working on Monday," so it was fast. And when we would shoot our fights, they literally the stunt team did. The stunt team would teach me and help me, but they literally would go, "Okay, go over there. You got like 30 minutes, and we're gonna shoot your fight." So while they were setting up the lights, you had to practice, rehearse, and luckily for me, obviously I could learn choreography, but learning a martial arts fight, it's different than dancing. So luckily for me, they would shoot it in segments. So it was like kick, kick, punch, and then they'd move the camera. So you shot it in like little pieces, and then when you'd see it, they made you look like you're, I don't want to say a bad word. Yeah. So yeah, but no, the stunt team, they were amazing. And then when we were working on the movie, we actually had time on the movie to really practice our fights and really get them perfect. And we worked on them for weeks. And I actually went over to one of the stunt guys' house, and they taught me how to do a flip, on the trampoline and stuff, so that I just was like, I want it to be better than any fight I've done on a TV show. So they really helped me out.
Questions? Go ahead.
The movie, the remake, was came out like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? What do you think?
I liked it. I was entertained, but I always tell fans I'm a different type of fan. I love seeing that the franchise is still going on. I love new versions of it, and when I first heard they were doing a movie, I was like, and it was going to be a reboot, I was like, oh, I hope they don't try to remake our movie. I hope they give them something new. I felt like you guys have been waiting for a movie for God knows how long. And I was happy to, yeah, and I was happy that they did an all-new movie. But I get, like, there are parts that the fans really were, like, upset about or against, and I get it. I get what, you know, they took out some of the nostalgia. I think that that movie really lacked the nostalgia. I really felt like, you know, I love seeing Tommy and Kimberly, but I wanted them to actually have a line. I wanted them to actually have a pivotal part in helping the Rangers get to a goal or something. So I wish it would have been better, and I wish everybody would have gotten a cameo in some sort of way. Because I just feel like if they would have added a couple other little things, the fans would have lost their mind. Like they lost their mind every time something happened, you know. But I liked it. How about you, sir?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought that they got to what the heart of what the show was about. I think there were a couple of moments they could have expanded on. You know, hearing the theme, the music theme, for that short amount of time, I think they could have extended that a little bit.
The crowd went crazy too when it came on in the theater.
Yeah, and both Austin and I think that the Zord should have been a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
They seemed rather small. But other than that, I thought they did a really, really good job. I mean, the whole Billy arc.
I loved Billy.
I mean, it's such a great character, and the sacrifice and everything. I thought that was such a great moment, and you know, kind of got you a little choked up when they were carrying him, and the song "Stand By Me" is playing, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's kind of sad. But you know, I thought they did a really good job.
I couldn't believe they killed Billy.
I know for both of you that, from what I understand, and of course you only read so much online, but that the Power Rangers was, how could you know that it was going to be as big as it was? And at what point did you realize, oh, this is
huge.
This is huge. What was that point? Was there a point or many points that you guys could remember?
Well, when we shot it, it was just a pilot. It hadn't been picked up yet. And you know, as I was leaving the set that night, they said, "Okay, well, we'll call you when the show gets picked up." And I'm like, "Okay, you do that." You know, you hear that all the time because they shoot so many different pilots out in LA, and only very few of them get picked up.
Right.
So I just thought it was another one of those things. It was like, okay, you know, whatever. But then I did get a call 2 weeks later, said, "Congratulations, the show's going to be on Fox." And I'm like, "Great, when do I report to set?" And that's when they told me they weren't going to film me anymore. And so I was a little disappointed about that. But a year later, Christmas time, after the show had come out, and I was at a KB Toys, and the Power Dome was there with my face on it. And I was like, wow, this is really big. And I'll never see a penny of it. So, yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild.
And what about it for you?
I think, you know, I came in and the show was a hit,
Right.
but I didn't understand that. Like, you know, we were straight to work, and we worked I mean, we'd go in, it'd be dark, we'd go home, it was dark, and I mean, it was just our daily grind. It wasn't until we were promoting the movie, we went to, we actually did like the man's hand and footprint kind of thing. And I mean, when you walk out onto Hollywood Boulevard and it's shut down, and there are thousands of people in the stands screaming, and you walk out of the limo and it's just like, and there are these flashing lights, like, you know, and you see it, you can't even see in front of you because it's crazy. And there was so many paparazzi, and they knew who you, they were like, Karan, and I was like, how do they know your name? Like, who are these people? I think at that moment I knew, because I was like, we're sitting there doing the hand and footprint, and I'm thinking, I've seen Marilyn Monroe do this, I've seen all these legendary actors, and how in the heck are we here? Like, we were all just so, like, in awe of that moment. So that was the moment I was like, man, this is the #1 kid show in the world.
and you kind of touched on it before, but it's everywhere. I mean, it's
everywhere.
The world. I mean, what places, besides, you know, maybe some of the Asian countries and in North America and the UK, but what other countries do you get messages from or have visited?
Everywhere.
Greece, Germany,
Brazil. We were in Jakarta, Indonesia, like last year, and this little kid was like, "Go, go, Power Rangers!" Like every time, like he kept screaming it in the panel.
Yeah. He couldn't speak any other
Could
English
not
other
speak
than that.
English, but could sing that song, and it was just crazy. And then the crowd, like we had a guy ask us to sing the song, and I was like, "No, no, no, you sing the song." And this guy was like, "They've got." Like he was like I don't know, American Idol needed to come and get this kid. But like the whole crowd was singing, but they could not speak English. That just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's really interesting. There are quite a number of like YouTube channels that are dedicated to Power Rangers in the franchise, and Chris Katana, who did a little mini film with Karan, all centered on the Yellow Rangers and stuff.
Yeah.
He posted a video the other day because I guess one of the other channels had been asked a question, why are you still covering the Power Rangers? It's a dying franchise. And Chris responded by saying it's not a dying franchise. If you books, the Shattered Grid, the video games that are coming out,
Hyperforce.
it's if anything, it's growing even more popular. So I think it's really interesting that that's still going on.
Questions? Starting with the baby.
Yes. How did you feel about the Hyperforce one on the Twitch stream?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I had never played Dungeons and Dragons, so at first I was so nervous because I was like, I have no concept of the game. But once I got into it and I figured out what was happening, I loved it. That cast was amazing. Huh?
It felt like an improv show.
Yeah, it's totally improv. And they're so funny, they're so talented. And then Polly was there. Polly's the Yellow Ranger. So if you haven't seen Hyperforce, go on YouTube. They've got all the episodes on there, but I got to be on like 2 episodes.
I was grinning like a kid when I found out that Polly was going to be a Power Ranger.
Yes, that
so
made
awesome.
everybody's day.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Very cool.
Yes, sir.
Karen, you mentioned, growing up, you like Wonder Woman and stuff like that.
Mhm.
What other kind of shows or cartoons did you enjoy that you did, and what do you guys enjoy now?
Oh man, I like so much stuff. You go first.
Well, when I was growing up, I was a big fan of comic books. I loved Marvel comics, and also when I was growing up, there were several Sentai shows that were showing here in the United States. There was Ultraman and Spectre-Man, and so I was familiar with that. So when I found out I was being cast on a show that was going to be part of Japanese footage, I was like, that's awesome. I get to be part of like kaiju culture or whatever. But these days I'm really into the stuff that I grew up with that people told me, oh, stop reading that. That's for kids. You need to stop reading all that stuff. Has now become like the height of what everybody wants to be a part of.
It's chic to be
The Marvel Universe is something fantastic to watch. And Karen and I are both huge fanatics for Stranger Things, and we cannot wait for July to come out. So for season
July
3.
4th, where are we?
We're in Montreal.
We are watching Stranger Things that night after the show.
Because there have been a couple of times when we've been
I'm so glad we're going to be together.
Yeah.
I am like,
we
just made my whole life.
We talk about Marvel movies all the time, so like Karen and I were like, we're going to see Black Panther together.
Yeah.
So we went and saw Black Panther together, and then we
saw.
We messaged each other after Infinity War. Did you watch it?
Yeah. No, I totally like put together the band. I got the band back for Infinity War. Like you would have been dying. It was like me, Austin, Johnny. Like it was like 10 Power Rangers. We were all like this, and we were screaming at the screen. We were like, no! We were crying. It was like. We were some fools. We were, like everyone reacted at the end of Infinity War. We had the same reaction. And we saw it 2 nights in a row. Like we were at a con, we were in Philadelphia. And literally we watched it on Friday and we went back and watched it on Saturday. And they were like, everybody was like, you're in Philadelphia, like what? They were like, shut up! I gotta see it again, I missed some things, you know?
Have you guys met the Stranger Things kids?
I met a couple of them, but no, I haven't. Not yet. My agent, he knows I love Stranger Things, so he got me Millie Bobby Brown's autograph, and I like to die. He gave it to me for Christmas.
We were in Philadelphia, I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah. And the girl who plays teenage Negasonic Warhead from Deadpool was there.
Oh, she's so awesome.
Yeah, I got to meet her, and that was freaking awesome.
Yeah. Like we get to meet so many cool people. Like that's kind of the cool thing. Like we're fans of all this stuff.
Get to take pictures with Captain America, though.
He is not bitter much. But yeah, we get to meet like so many cool things. And like I said, I thought I was Wonder Woman growing up. Like I literally, you couldn't tell me anything.
Right.
Like
You are now. You're very.
if I could only be that much of a Wonder Woman, I'd be like, yeah. So it was ironic to grow up and get cast as a female superhero. Like that's just the dream come true. But yeah, I love Stranger Things. I love I'm one of those people on Thursday, don't bother me. I'm watching Scandal. I'm watching, you know, I'm watching all those. Grey's Anatomy. I went down the list, and when Scandal stopped coming on, I cried. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, so I'm just crazy.
Questions, sir?
This one's for Karan, and I have another one for you, David. Karan, you're like starting another con, Ranger Stop and Pop. Can you go into a little bit about it?
Oh my God, yeah. Guys, I don't know what I'm thinking. I am producing my own con this year. I actually teamed up with Ranger Stop, which is a Power Ranger con that happens in Orlando. They're going into their 7th year. But our show is called Ranger Stop and Pop, which is, it's a pop con. So we're gonna have people from all over. You know, we'll have Power Rangers, obviously, because you guys love Power Rangers. But we have, you know, we got Kel Mitchell is signed on to do the show. We've got Johnny Cruz, who's Lucio from Overwatch, is going to do the show. We're talking to some WWE wrestlers. I can't say until they sign their contract. So I mean, it's going really good. But it's a lot of work. You guys know. I mean, you guys, when you put on a Comic-Con, there are so many moving parts. So I think I've officially lost my mind, but I'm having so much fun.
And also, because you got Kel Mitchell, you were actually in Kenan and Kel,
I was on
and I
Kenan and
cannot
Kel.
find like the episode you were in on YouTube or anywhere.
Yeah,
That's a buy it.
they protected those episodes. I think it's hard to find.
Not that I've been looking, but yeah.
Yeah, I was on Kenan and Kel, so no, it's super exciting. We became friends ever since I did that episode. We've always remained friends, and we have the same agent now because I introduced him to him when I saw him at a con, and it's just great, you know, to kind of work with my friends, but also, you know, this guy's booked. We've got a lot of Power Rangers coming.
Also for David, because you talked about video games, of course we're getting a new Power Ranger video game, Battle for the Grid, which is, and of course when that comes out, do you think you and other Rangers will like play the game like on Twitch?
I definitely plan on picking it up. I mean, I'm always hopeful when something like that would happen that, you know, that we will get a call to do a voice or something like that, but nothing like that has come along so far. But I'll definitely pick it up because I like to keep in touch with some of the things that the fans are playing, like the Heroes of the Grid board game that Renegade Studios did. I backed that and want to play that with other Power Rangers because that's, you know, just another way to connect with fans and stuff like that. So yeah.
Very cool.
Good. Sir.
So you were the voice of my childhood growing up, just listening to that echoing voice.
Yeah.
You know, was there a reason why you weren't on Power Rangers the movie?
Because they wanted to save money, they filmed it in Australia. They had called me when they were going to film it in Los Angeles, but when the decision was made to save money and film down in Australia, they hired a local actor down there rather than fly me out from wherever I was at that point. So.
Go ahead.
It was a few years after you guys did the Power Rangers, started the Power Rangers, you guys did like a live thing with the audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the experience with that?
That was actually pretty cool. What they did was, it was when we were shooting the movie. They did this like tour. It was like you could go and see the Power Rangers live. We spent hours in ADR, you know, doing the voiceover for that, but it was very cool. I mean, we weren't. I don't want to break your heart, but we weren't actually in the suit. We were in Australia shooting the film, but it was very cool. I actually got to see the show. And they snuck me in after it started, me and my little nephew at the time. He was like the perfect age, and we snuck in and watched the live show.
They did, it's on Crackle right now, which is kind of sad because it's free. But you can go on Crackle and watch all the episodes.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Power Rangers that we never even seen. It's like that was specifically in China, Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And stuff that we didn't get to see that you can see now.
That's
like,
pretty
it
cool.
shows the live. It says the Power Rangers live events.
Yeah, I know that shortly after the show went on the air, they did a live show at the Hollywood Amphitheater, and that shut down the freeway. They were scheduled to do, I think, just one or two shows that day, but because there were so many people, they had to like extend it to like 8 performances that day.
Yeah.
And Walter and Austin have all talked about what a rock star experience it was, because when they came bounding onto the stage, all the lights were going off from all the different flashes and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild.
I think that's when they knew we need to take this on the road.
Yeah.
You know?
Two questions for Karen. One question, how was it wearing the suit for the movie?
Terrible.
I heard like it was a lot heavier and like it was just hard to move in, but it looked cool.
And yeah, it was one of those like suffer for the look moments.
Yeah.
Because literally that thing was made out of like vinyl or something. So you know that's not very movable. So and it was 25 pounds. And then some genius was like, oh, the girls look like little football players. Let's give them a corset. So they would corset us in the back. So not only was it heavy, it was just like your back was, like it was so bad to the point where we'd only wear them for about 15 minutes at a time. And then they would take them off and someone literally would stand in front of you just holding your costume. And you would just sweat profusely. Like it was like, you felt like when you took it off, you felt like you just worked out for 10 hours, like your muscles were sore. The only perk was that when they realized that this thing was just terrible for our bodies, and it was like a quarter of our weight, they were like, you get a massage. Every time you wear it, we'll have a massage therapist. So we were all like, yes, put the costume on. So yeah, but it was so uncomfortable, but I mean, when we saw them on screen, those costumes, they look amazing. And I think a lot of people ask why we didn't wear them in the TV show, and I think that's why, because they were so cool, but they just weren't practical. And on the TV show, we would shoot so fast. They didn't have probably enough budget to have someone stand in front of you and hold it, you know?
And then give you a massage.
Yeah. They didn't want to kill our necks and backs. Like we literally, it was so, I mean, it was crazy.
I did like to see some.
The suits were awesome, weren't they? Yeah, I felt like Batman or something. Like it was armor, you know?
Second question: when you did the flip in between those two ooze monsters, how much practice did you have to do for that?
You know what? We did a lot of practice for the fight, but it was like the guys, they were just like, they taught me how to do that flip. And so, I mean, it was just like, that was like my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like we would just do it and do it. Like we would just work out as much as we could just so I personally just wanted to feel comfortable, you know?
Any more questions out there? Yes, young man.
Yeah.
Why was little mini monsters called putty?
I think because they look like clay when they would break away.
They were
so
made
it was
out
like
of putty.
putty.
Yeah, they're made out of clay. So
Yeah,
I
like that. Yeah, good question.
So that's the thing, is that you must both, as much as you're into obviously the Power Rangers, you probably learn a lot from the fans. And you're like, oh, I didn't look at it that way or see it that way. Talk about some of that or any theories that you didn't think of before.
This is the thing. They know way more than we'll ever know. And I always say this, and I always go, well, I never really watched the episodes, and the fans are always shocked that I say that. But it was like, I was like, well, I was there, you know? I kind of, like, we went through the motions of doing it. But when we would shoot an episode, we would shoot 4 episodes every 2 weeks. So when you'd go in, and like, let's say we're shooting in the command center, we would literally shoot all 4 episodes, every scene that was in the command center, we'd shoot that on that day. So you'd change probably 4 or 5 times. So if you had a ponytail one day and you had your hair down, like literally you'd have to change and match everything. But you'd shoot all your command center, you'd shoot all your juice bar, you shoot all the school. So in my mind, even though I was there, I probably should watch the episodes because it's like, it's all kind of intertwined together. And then if you think about what do you remember 23 years ago, I don't remember much. So it's like in my brain, I'll watch episodes and I don't even remember doing it. Like it's like almost out of body experience. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where the fans always know more. Because you guys have watched the episodes over and over and over, and you come up with your own theories, and you know, and I don't even know how it ended.
I'm like, it's still going on.
Yeah.
If you will watch what's today, it's still, I mean, there's no Zordon, there's no other mention of the Power Rangers, and that's the weird thing. You think there would be a mention of other...
Some sort of like
Well, with
consistent...
the reunion episode they did last fall with Dimensions in Danger, I mean, they still acknowledged that the past is still there.
Yeah.
So who knows what they're going to do.
Who knows?
I just like the role when they did all the red ones, all the red Rangers.
Yeah.
All the original, first 10, 11 episodes.
Forever Red!
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they need to do that more. They need to do it more like that. Cause
bring back the old school with the new school, because then it's like, now the new, I won't let him watch the new one. It's just, they're not as corny, they're not as, that's the thing, they're not.
They don't have that extra cheese.
Nice.
Rated G with extra cheese.
We've got time for a few more questions. Any more questions with back? No? Then just go ahead and look at these two.
Last one for me. you hope the Patriots lose tonight?
Ooh, I'm not saying that out loud.
I have no problem voting against the Patriots. I have no loyalty to them whatsoever. So if they
They've
lose,
won enough, right? They've won enough.
Go ahead, sir.
Too funny.
Anyone who's new to Power Rangers, what would you tell them? Like, kind of like, what would you recommend?
I always say start at the beginning. I love that Netflix has all the episodes, and I go start with Mighty Morphin and work your way down. But obviously I love Mighty Morphin, but I love it because we were lucky because it would come on every day. So there are hundreds of episodes. I mean, we all had families. Like there was, like the characters were so, like they really developed all of our characters. They really spent time. And I felt like some of the best writing happened in Mighty Morphin. And then not to say that the other seasons don't have great writing, but it's like, what can you do in 24 episodes? Or it's really hard to cram all of that and really focus on everyone in that short a time. So we're very blessed that our characters just really had a journey, you know. And I would say start there and then work them down to the
yeah. I mean, if they're really into martial arts and superheroes and stuff, you could even direct them to go back and watch the first Sentai stuff, which starts in the middle of the 70s. You know, find the either English subtitle ones or the ones that have been dubbed in English and start then building all the way up to Zoo Ranger, which is where the footage for Mighty Morphin came from, and catch it up there. I mean, they're still filming the Sentai, which is where, you know, we get the footage for the new seasons.
And here we thought we were the OGs. Like, duh. We were like season 10.
Well, it's like Austin tells the story about meeting Yuta for the first time and telling him, well, I'm the first Red Ranger, and Yuta's like, no, you're
not.
You're like number 17. But
yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to see would you give us a little Zordon?
Ooh.
Well, we could. I mean, if we morph at the end of the thing, we'll do a morph, and I'll tell everybody to go to the command center. We can do that.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
How much of the show or the seasons was planned out ahead of time in terms of the story? Were they just pretty much making it up as they went along, or they have a vision based on the existing footage?
Well, any TV series plans ahead. So there were episodes written before they ever stepped in front of the camera. But of course, the writers for the show had to take the 15 or 11 minutes of the Japanese footage and try to justify it and shoehorn it into an American storyline.
Yeah.
So when the writers were handed footage of a giant purse monster attacking the Power Rangers, like, on how can we explain this? And so, you know, they tried to fit it around that. Like, I know in the Zoo Ranger version, the pudgy pig monster, there's something else going on with it that doesn't have anything to do with an international food day that's happening at Angel Grove Juice Bar. It had nothing to do with that, but since they brought the pudgy pig costume over to the States, they worked that into the, you know, and ate up all the food and stuff like that. But so, yeah, they're definitely planned out before they get in front of the camera.
They usually had, like, I think they were always like 8, maybe more episodes ahead. Like they had those written out before we even stepped on set.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, I don't know if this happened in the movie or not, but sometimes you will get line changes during the day, but it won't really affect the overall scene. It's just little subtle changes in the way you say a line or whatever, but for the most part, it's all planned out ahead.
All planned out.
Right, so people can still catch you. You're going to go back to your tables, right? I know you guys are on the fan deck, just right up top. You can go ahead and talk to you, and you can sign autographs and things like that you'll have out there. And then the social media, they can follow you, I'm assuming?
Yes. You can follow me at Karan Ashley on Instagram and Twitter, and then at official Karan Ashley on Facebook. But yeah, we're definitely going to be upstairs. We'll be here till 5.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at David J. Fielding or on Instagram at DJFielding_Zordon. So,
perfect. And then I guess we have a sign off that we're gonna do there.
Yeah. Well, you guys got to do it with us. You guys ready to morph?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody stand up and come a little closer. If you're in the back, come closer. Yeah. Put it right there.
Right.
You know you guys have been working on this, so don't be shy.
Been practicing all day.
So we'll practice one. On the count of 3, we'll say it's Morphin time. Well, no, on the count of, he's going to say, what are you going to say, David?
Aisha, this is Zordon. Collect your friends and teleport to the command center immediately.
It's Morphin time! We'll do it right after he says that, okay?
All right.
On the count of 3. 1, 2.
Aisha, this is Zordon. Collect your friends and teleport to the command center immediately.
It's Morphin time! Woo! Yeah, good job.
Want to thank
Syracuse Tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
You'll see them at the fan deck upstairs. You can go ahead and get pictures and autographs from them. In about 20 minutes, we'll have Tommy Dreamer and Dan Severn, wrestling legends, up here. So if you want to be there for former WWE superstars Tommy Dreamer and Dan Severn, they will be on at this table.